Thank you for being on time and all that. How's your day going aside from having to do a lot of press?
So far, so good. Honestly, I'm gonna soak it up, take it all in, take all the press in while while the show's out and hot and all that stuff. So it's been really fun.
When did you actually film it? I asked that because sometimes you learn a show has been in the can for 2 or 3 years. Other times, nope, they had the release date before they made it.
So we shot this series from August to December of 2021. So it's been a year. And I think all the actors were really excited to get it out there. We were wondering for a little bit, and then we got word of our release this summer.
Did you know outright that it was an Amazon Prime series?
I did, yes. When I received the breakdown, I saw that Amazon was involved, that the Crown, the producers of The Crown were involved. I didn't know Alfred was involved yet. It said that he had been cast, but it didn't say who. So when I received all this information from my agent, I definitely thought, wow, I don't like, it's great that I able to audition for this, but I don't think they're going to hire, someone without way more credits than me. So it was a
Oh,
surprise. It was a surprise. Yeah, because it was such a big project.
you have so many darn credits. And trying to go through the timeline here, because you mentioned it was filmed in 2021 and it just came out in December 2022, and you have another batch of credits from this year. Is this like 6 projects ago for you?
It is, yeah, about 6 projects ago, pretty much. It's been a good year, I have to say. I got a little bit of time off at the beginning of this year to
Mhm.
just, rest up from shooting for 5.5 months. And then, yeah, and then it started getting busy in the spring, and it's been great. And I think with the show coming out, we'll see what kind of opportunities it will bring. So I'm
Right.
excited for that. Yeah.
When you mentioned filming on set for 5.5 months, did you know outright that you were going to be on a set? Granted, there's breaks in there, but did you know you were going to be away for that long?
No. So we shot the series actually very close to where I grew up, about an hour away. Some of the locations were 20 minutes away from my hometown. So I knew that I was going to be away from my current home, but that I was going to be at home too, which was really nice to kind of have that full circle moment. But I originally was only supposed to start shooting in October,
Hmm.
and we did a read through with Amazon, and I wasn't supposed to be in one of the shooting blocks. And I was lucky I got added to the episode. So I was able to kind of be on the journey during the whole the whole shooting schedule, which was really, really fun.
I ask that because we always hear, or when I say we, as a person who cares about how film and TV shows are made and wants to learn everything possible, we learn about so many great shows that don't make it past the pilot, or they get canceled after 3 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
So the people think that they were going to be away for 6 months, but it turns out they were away for 2 weeks in the corporate apartment and then they got sent home.
Yeah.
So that's why I was curious if you knew, hey, I'm going to be away for a long time. Because it sounds
Yeah.
like Amazon was behind it from day one.
Yes, they were. And we knew that we were doing 8 episodes, full 8 episodes. So yeah, we were prepared for that marathon, I guess you can call it.
And then, in terms of the character Yvette Nickel, uh, how much of the character is there in the human being Sarah Booth?
That's a great question. I would say more than I thought. I feel like playing her has brought out a lot of playfulness in my real life, which has been really fun. Yeah, and just kind of loosened me up a little bit. I feel like through the journey with Yvette, I've definitely discovered things about myself, discovered things about her. And I'm so used to playing darker characters, having, more drama, more high stakes. This show is high stakes, but just
Mhm.
for my character in a lot of those moments. So it's really interesting to have, the role that's gonna, hopefully get my name out there, be more of a lighter comedic role, and people will be able to kind of discover all the dark stuff I have done throughout my career. It's going to be really interesting. Yeah, I just realized that I love playing dark characters,
Mhm.
but playing a vet, it was just every day was so fun.
Well, another old school thing that we learn about TV shows and film actors, actresses, whatever the term that is correct these days, is that whatever role you play, usually the studio or the network goes, "We want you to know the ins and outs of this profession. So you're going to be a traffic cop. Go hang out with traffic cops for a week. You're going to be a clown. Go to the circus for a week." Did you get any vocational hangouts or training for this role?
So it was during the pandemic, which made it hard to do any ride-alongs or anything like that because the protocols were just, they don't have time for me right now, which I completely understand and respect. So I had a friend who played a cop. I watched her show. I talked to her about it. I watched a bunch of detective documentaries, tons of stuff like that, just to kind of get immersed in their day-to-day life, what it's like being trained, that kind of
Right.
stuff. And I feel like once I got on set, I was really lucky because most of our extras that are playing police officers are actually police officers.
Oh,
So, yeah, a lot of them love doing it. And if they have a day off and they get a call, they're like, yeah, sure, let's go do the thing. And when I first got put my belt on, which is like, anywhere between 10 to 15 pounds, depending what you have on you, I automatically like put my thumbs in the buckle loops and like kind of went, did that thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cliche. Sarah, don't do that. And then my first scene was in the Situation Room where there's just a bunch of real cops. And I looked around, they were all doing it, and I was like, oh, but it's functional, right?
yeah.
So, so I was, yeah, I had to kind of, figure it out for myself because I know, usually production is they're so cool with like helping you out as an actor. But we did have a consultation with a police officer for about 2 hours before we ever shot anything, which was great. We could ask all our questions and learn how to handcuff, all that kind of stuff. So that
Nice.
was, yeah. And there's always someone on set that you could be like, how do I do this? And they would help you out.
I asked that out of extreme curiosity because the what pays the bills for yours truly is not these amazing interviews, it's being an investigator.
Mhm.
And whenever you watch a procedural show, how people investigate, it has about 5% similarities as to what investigators actually do.
Right.
So it's good to see that they actually put you with competent people who were not just a bunch of cops wishing that they were actors. It's cops going, yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, exactly. They love the work. And for production, it's really beneficial because if there's chatter, they need them to just do their thing and they know what to do, right? It's super authentic. So it just saves everyone a lot of time, which is great. And yeah, it just makes everyone a little more confident. And of course, sometimes you have to break the rules because, hey, we're making television. It's just, the way it is sometimes, but you can see their hearts break a little bit when we have to do that.
And then another intriguing thing about you is that you've done a lot of stunt work based on
Yeah.
prior gigs. When did you get to leave the stunts behind and focus on your acting skills? Not saying that stunt work is not acting, but when did you finally get to go, oh, I'm not going to break anything today?
So the live show that I did at Universal Studios, I did a live show of the movie Waterworld. So it's about 20 minutes, just crazy stunts, boats, fire, zip lining. It was a blast. I did that for 3.5 years when I lived in Los Angeles. And I just got to a point where I was starting to take off for months at a time doing film projects. And, you come back and you go back to show and you're just feeling rusty and your mind's on other things. And I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. But I kept doing stunt work because, you know, it's a great side gig. You're on set, you're meeting people, you're acting different, but you are. And I haven't done that much stunt work because the pandemic, I wasn't willing to, you know, do 2 weeks of quarantine to go over to the States. But
Right.
I did double one of my very best friends this summer on a show called Wong and Winchester
Okay.
that's coming out, I'm not sure, probably in the new year. So I was able to double her. It was very simple. I was doing car chases. I wasn't driving, I was the passenger, and my driver was fantastic. And what else did I do? I like fell over a couch, things like that. Yeah, it was just so fun. It was so fun. So yeah, like I didn't have to do it, but I was like, let's go hang out on set with all my Montreal friends.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
as we talked about before, this is not the most recent thing you filmed, although it's the most recent thing to come out, Three
Mhm.
Pines. Are you allowed to say what's next, or is it all Three Pines for the rest of time, and that's all we talk about? Because there's industry
No.
embargoes, and the Hollywood Reporter and Variety say you can't talk about it.
No, well, we don't actually know if we're getting a season 2 yet. We're hopeful. The reaction has been fantastic. So
Sure.
hopefully that happens, but it's out of our hands. But I've been working on the show Murdoch Mysteries for a couple episodes this season. So that'll be coming out. I also was on an episode of Transplant, which is a medical drama that plays on NBC in the
Mhm.
US. And I also have a movie out right now called Last Call. It's a one take feature film. So no cuts for 80 minutes, kind of
Wow.
like theater on film. And we've won a lot of awards throughout film festivals. With that one, you can find that on Amazon Prime or Prime Video. Also Peacock, Tubi.
Wow. Okay. The 80-minute one take thing blows my mind because there's been quote unquote one take music videos where there's still a cut
Yep.
4 minutes in.
Yeah.
80 minutes. So around how many takes did you do on that film?
So we ended up doing 5 takes. We have 5 full movies, but we decided obviously to pick one because we didn't want any cuts. And we rehearsed for 10 days. So 10-day rehearsal, we shot for 4 nights. Some nights we would shoot twice if we needed to. And yeah, no cuts. Everyone always asks us, they're like, where is it? And we're like, nope, there is no cuts. It's a very heavy movie. It deals with mental health and suicide. So, just heads up for anyone who's listening, if that's something that, is not good for you to watch. But it was definitely a feat. It was so just incredible. My husband was the director and the writer on this movie, and he's done so many one take music videos and short films. He's fascinated by them. So he was just, I don't know how he put it together in his brain, but we made it work, and it just ended up being a really good movie.
So what I'm learning in recapping before I let you go
Yeah.
is if it's an interesting role, doesn't matter if it's comedy, drama, there's stunts, you'll do it. That's the
Yeah.
first thing. You're working a lot, and we can't pigeonhole to what Sarah Booth is going to do next.
I'll
Not
take
the only
that.
creative person in that household of yours.
Correct.
And we just need to keep checking the IMDb page and or the Sarah Film Booth. Is that the Instagram?
Correct. Yes, I
Okay.
always post what I'm up to on Instagram. That's definitely where you can keep up with me the best.
So that's where we're going to keep looking. And thank you for your time. Looking forward to whatever is coming next. Congrats on Three Pines.
Thank you so much.
Paltrocast.